I'll open the council meeting for 15 of January. Please join me in the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Twyla, roll call, please.
Councilor Albert?
Here.
Councilor Colby? Here. Councilor Brunel?
Here.
Councilor LaRochelle?
Here.
Councilor Ward?
Yes, I'm here.
Councilor Lunt?
Here.
And Councilor Crawford?
Here. All righty. So,
First item on the agenda
yep.
is good news and recognition.
All right. So I understand that the girls cheering won MBCs over the weekend. So our congratulations to them for all their hard work. Go Lisbon. Nobody else? All right. Next item.
Under public hearing, a licensing of medical marijuana establishment ordinance.
All right. So this is
You want to open the public hearing?
yeah. We'll open the public hearing for the licensing of the medical marijuana establishments ordinance. If anybody wants to speak at this time, please step to the podium. Seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. And the public hearing for the...
Yep, the next item, victualer's license for the Rusty Lantern.
Okay, I'll open that public hearing for the victualer's license for the Rusty's Lantern. Anybody wants to speak, please do so now. Step to the podium. Seeing no one, close the public hearing.
You're rolling now. He's doing it.
Right. Next item.
Audience participation and response for agenda items.
This time, anybody wants to step to the podium? If they have anything they want to talk about on the agenda? Anyone? Seeing no one? Go ahead and move on to the next item.
Is the consent agenda. Any counselor wishing to remove an item may do so now. Seeing none, order 2019-01 to approve the municipal accounts payable and payroll warrants. Number 1202018 for $3,279.81. Number 44 for $20,796.07. Number 45 for $175,302.32. Number 132019 for $19,443.61. Number 142019 for $131,064.68. Number 46 for $186,586.50. Number 47 for $18,910.93. School accounts payable and payroll warrants. Number 16 for $1,105.86. Number 1034 for $349,304.73. Number 1035 for $11,233.47. Number 17 for $1,488.71. Number 1036 for $332,944.74. Number 1037 for $11,243.33. Number 1038 for $325,527.90. Number 1907 for $171,572.63. And the minutes of December 18, 2018, and a victualer's license for the Rusty Lantern and the Maine Downtown Center Affiliate Community Agreement.
Make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next item.
Under council orders, ordinances, and resolutions, order 2019-02, 428 Ridge Road demolition extension request.
I'd like to go ahead and table that and move it to another.
Okay.
Redemption to the tax-acquired property owners of record, allowing them to pay all real estate taxes and fees owed on the property in full by the end of the 30-day redemption period, and to accept funds until council takes action to dispose of the property, and to issue a quitclaim deed when payment is received in full. And this is typically what we do every year when we do have tax-acquired property.
And this, both of these are just this year only. They're actually, you had taken care of all the ones year before,
Yes.
so it's just that
Yep.
1 year. Yep. Make that motion.
I'll second.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
the first one on that list, is there something on that property that it doesn't make sense?
I think it was
know.
just an oversight, I would think, but
No, it's not.
it's not.
Nope,
Interesting.
It's almost like they don't want.
they don't.
Yeah.
They wanted us to foreclose on it.
Well, good. I just,
No, we reached
That's
out
questionable.
several times, and we have an email to that effect.
Really?
So,
okay, well, good.
Was
so
it
then
paid?
I got checking on it to find out, well, is there something wrong with this? And there isn't.
So that's what I was questioning about last year. So this was paid last year. This is the first year it has not been paid.
No, 2017. It hasn't been
Okay.
paid for 3 years.
Okay, so that was, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I'm not sure why, but
Is it an unbuildable lot or something like that? I mean, is there?
No,
is there
it's actually
No.
so there's value there. It's
the
a 3-acre piece of land.
and the extension. What was the extension road of it again?
It's off Cross Street, and it's October Lane is how you get access to it.
That's what I thought.
Yep. So,
So make a motion to authorize abatement of the 2016-2017.
oh no, we got to do the tax acquired first, the
Ah.
redemption.
I'm jumping the gun. All right, cool. So there was a first and a second on that already. So no, it's fine. There's a first and second on that already. Are we ready to?
Yeah, we are.
Okay. All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Okay, perfect. Next
Then
item.
order 2019-03B is the 2016-17 and the 2017-18 property tax abatement for 16 Ann Street.
Yes, an abatement is due on this property, but it's beyond the time limit that the assessor can do it, and now only the council can take it up. And it was an error in assessment during the reval. And this is an unbuildable lot, so we are requesting that you abate the taxes. And I have a motion to that
So
effect.
I will make that motion to authorize the abatement of the 2016-2017 property tax in the amount of $689.82, valuation of $30,800, and 2017 and 2018 tax in the amount of $714.56 with a valuation of $30,800 for tax map U05-Lot 191 or 16 Ann Street.
I'll make a motion for discussion.
I made the motion, so just give me a second. You'll be the second.
Sorry.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So now we're open to discussion.
Yep. Now this will be corrected at this point going forward. It's actually be
Yes.
corrected.
Yep, the 2019 taxes have already been abated, so
And
so
this
we're
was,
just doing the 2 years prior to that.
this is basically just an occurrence from our last revaluation. Okay.
Because it was always assessed lower
It changed. It just
than
wasn't caught
changed
that
at
time.
the reval.
Gotcha.
Because the circumstances around this piece of property in foreclosure, tax acquired, the owner that's being assessed now never got any notification because it was always in the town's name. It's because of that mistake that happened.
Gotcha.
So he couldn't apply for to meet with the reval team to have the value lowered because it was in the town's name at that time.
Sounds interesting, but I'm glad we're getting
Yeah.
corrected.
Anybody else? Anything else? All right, all in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next item.
Order 2019-03C, speed safety device.
Good evening, Mark Hagan, Chief of Police. So we have the opportunity to get a free sign, solar-powered, they call it a dynamic speed feedback sign, basically. What it is, if you haven't seen it, you all have photos of it, pole-mounted speed sign, basically to tell people what their speeds are. It also documents vehicle speed, so we could track when's a higher speed time or when the higher traffic time and so forth. So we have the opportunity to get it for free. It's a $4,000 value, and seems like a good deal.
Training on it's free too, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Chair, Mary? The, everybody's quite familiar if you're going up 125 when you get into Boulder Sudden or before you hit the cannon, it always flashes at you if you're doing 35 miles an hour or over. It's kind of the same. That's a solar powered, I believe, driven. So,
Yeah, that one looks just like it. There's one on your way into Freeport. I think it's on 125.
Correct.
It's been there for a couple
Lewiston
years.
has one on Montello Street as well.
I was talking to Chief earlier. This looks more like a more permanent mount. Unfortunately, they have it mounted to a pole, which we know we can't mount to CMP poles,
Right.
but the town could put a mount. I mean, I'd love to see it coming down the hill on 196, getting people to slow down before they get into down by Frank's in that area. But I mean, there's a lot of different places you can put it. But this looks more of a permanent mount that would be there, and unless you actually changed it a couple different times a year, but it looks more permanent than not.
Exactly. They talk a little bit about it being its mobility, but if you look at it, I don't think it's going to be that mobile, to be honest with you. So yes, I would, in my head, I imagine it more. We put it somewhere where it's a continual problem area as you come into town somewhere, and just pretty much leave it there. It looks like it would be a show to move around too much.
If we are looking at some of the things we're talking about as far as people crossing 196 by Franks going into a parking lot, it would be a great opportunity to slow people down because that's going to be an interesting road to cross at times, I think so.
Coming down Main Street into town too. Pretty good clip coming down from Kitty Corner, a quarter mile there, right up until about Frank's.
There's a speed limit there? No.
Yeah, right.
Thought speed limits are only optional.
All right, let's reel us back in.
Hey, we got to make 8 o'clock now.
Reel us back in.
So,
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
So to hear this correctly, MDOT doesn't have a location for it. They just have one sign. How does that work?
They're just gonna
Does
give
it
it
have to
to
be on
us.
MDOT street or something of that nature? Or
As far as I know, from what I've seen, there's no restriction on what we do with it, but once we take it, it's ours. We're responsible for any maintenance and so forth, which is yet another reason why I don't see us moving this a lot. It looks like it'd be fairly pricey to fix.
Had a 3-year warranty though. I thought I saw
Yes,
something about that.
yes.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, sir.
Next item.
Order 2019-04, road name request, Golden Road.
All right.
So we have a recommendation to adopt the Golden Road for the extended drive off Frost Hill Avenue between 75 and 79 Frost Hill Avenue, and it is in compliance with the town's road naming ordinance, and it meets the E 911 standards.
I make the motion.
Second.
Favor.
Sorry.
Order passed, 7-0.
Next item.
Order 2019-05, the budget schedule.
This is a tentative budget schedule that I put together, and I do see a mistake on it. I have Lisbon Emergency on here twice. I think April 9th was the date I gave you, Jim, so we'll just cross off the April 23rd.
Anybody see any problems with the schedule?
I make a motion to adopt it. Can we say that?
I make the second for discussion.
Okay, second. Now let's jump into the discussion.
LCIP is where? We just said in our previous workshop that it was the beginning. I would like to move that from April 25th to the top.
The CIP, you want it up to
Yes.
26?
Anywheres we can get it that's higher in the hierarchy, because
All right.
realistically speaking, everything that we do for budget impacts all of it.
All right, we'll move it to the first budget workshop, March 26th.
Are we switching those two? Or are we just
No,
gonna?
no, we're just going to add it to that. We're going to add it with the Parks and Rec and Library budget. We'll talk about the capital improvement plan that same night.
That information, Chair, may I?
Yeah,
That information will be shared ahead of time anyway, so we'll all be familiar with it.
So you'll be getting everything. It'll be part of your budget package.
So, I mean, leading to, as we talked about, shorter meetings, any discussion could be actually asked of you after we get the information, so come to that meeting, we can try to keep it to a minimum.
Yep.
Not say minimum, but
Right, yep.
No, it's a good
not
word.
3 hours.
That's a good word.
Not 3 hours. Yeah. Not 3 hours. Under 3. Alrighty. So we got a motion and a second. All in favor? With the amended change to the date.
Yes, as amended, yeah.
I'm getting there.
I'll send you out a new one after I change that tomorrow.
Thank you. Next item.
Order 2019-06 to solicit bids for the emergency generator.
Just want to say this was my favorite part of the packet that I got to read. I was psyched that we're getting this done.
Lisa Ward, Emergency Management Director for the Town of Lisbon. I'm glad you're as excited as I am. We're just here, you have the letter already, we're just here to formalize putting it out for bid. And in conversation by email with the town manager, and then also I talked with the new county director for the EMA. We're suggesting that we itemize the bids for everything, but look for packages for installation and the generator and the switch and anything that needs to go with it. As you know, we have a total of $36,625.89 in grant money. We do have a very tight schedule for using that money. And I just want to let you all know that the government shutdown that we're experiencing right now federally is affecting this. So if we're able to go ahead and start looking for bids as soon as the EHP is approved, which is the Environmental Historical Preservation Survey that I did so that we can get the grant money, as soon as we get that done. So hopefully that shutdown doesn't last much longer. It will take, it's been taking 4 to 6 weeks for an EHP to be approved, and I'm not sure where I am on the list, but I'm planning for the worst and hoping for the best. We'll have a short window of time to make the purchase, and when we turn in that our receipts to the state so that they can turn them over to FEMA, they all have to be, they're very strict about the particulars. So we have the 36,000 plus. Council designated 20,000 from unassigned fund balance to go toward the generator pad and the infrastructure. I did meet with Alan Willett, the facilities manager at the high school, and I took some pictures. I didn't think to get multiples, but I have a couple. I took pictures of the area where the generator is going to go. If you're familiar with where the high school gym entrance is, this is, I'll just put one at each side. And we can, if you're familiar with where the gym entrance is, when you walk into the gym and move forward and take a left where the snack bar is, that's where the electrical room is. I have some other pictures that really don't show us much of anything. That's inside the electrical room. But I had to be able to show that everything that we have all our ducks in a row, that we have a place to put everything. We have more than enough room for the generator and the pad. When I met with Mr. Willett, he suggested that we consider natural gas as a fuel option. And so I contacted one of the folks I had conversations with at one of the electrical companies. It does raise the cost. His sort of off-the-cuff estimate was by about $30,000 or so. I thought it was a big number, but then in discussion with Diane and Director Molino, I think it would be wise to solicit bids for both, because if a natural gas ends up being fitting our budget, it is, I think, a better solution, because the natural gas lines run right across from the photo that you saw. They're right nearby, and it would be a really great option. It would cost less to operate. We wouldn't have to worry about a fuel tank, and so cost-wise, it might cost more. But I think if we put it out to bid to get both a diesel and natural gas bids, then we've covered all the bases. And if it's an option, I think it might be a better one. So I lost my track.
So I got a question anyway, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I know you spoke with Alan, but is there any, the folks that are going to install this generator, once we put it out there, I know you're trying to put a package together, will they have some input? Maybe they say that's not their best place to kind of put that, and we got a contingency plan surrounding that?
That's where it has to go.
Okay.
So, and this is how the grant works. I've already turned in the EHP. I can edit it, but they require that we choose the place. But we're not going to know any of that information until we get bids.
Right.
But it's my understanding that was the original location that people thought that a generator would go. It's sort of an atrium there. It's a very big space. There's nothing but brick walls where that is. And when you're standing in the space, you can see that. If you look at one of those pictures, you'll see I put footprints in the snow. I was happy there was snow, so I could put footprints in the snow so you could see. That's a 10 by 10 square that I marked out. And that's about the biggest that it would be. So the bid is going to be, the request is going to be for a 200 kilowatt generator, which is what was estimated by the original architects and then also by the electrical companies who we got bids from in previous years. That would be the size that would have to operate that. That size would give us heat and electricity for that space for as long as we have fuel for it. And as you know from previous years, the school department and the town will share maintenance. So
The only reason I brought that up is, that's what we chose to pop it in, but if it exhausts out into a ventilation system right in the area just because of the location of it, I'm sure that the folks who do this for every day can take a quick assessment of where we plan to drop it in and say, well, this is why it might not be a good idea.
That's why it's really great that we start the bid process, but not the acceptance of a bid. The earlier we start that process, if we have any gray areas, I still have time to amend the EHP. It'll be a small window of time because of the shutdown, but I think it's completely doable. I don't see any reason why we can't. I've been working with two relatively local electrical companies that I think both are anxious to have reached out to me as follow-ups, are anxious to submit bids. So I think that we're in good shape.
Chair, ma'am, I would really encourage on the bid you actually do both. If diesel is a consideration, the idea of natural gas propane. I've looked into these in the last couple of years to the extent, and usually not much for a price difference, but long-term maintenance, propane versus natural gas is like very little maintenance compared to diesel.
Propane versus natural gas, you mean?
Well, natural gas and propane are very clean burning.
Yeah.
Diesel, actually, the problem with diesel is in the worst circumstances, like it's 10 below zero where you would have emergency,
Yeah.
odds are it may not run because
Right.
of the diesel. So, not saying, I actually had a 200K last year I was using, and it actually broke down 3 times during the cold spell during January because
it was diesel.
it was gelling up.
Yeah.
So again, it's just one of those things where you want to put it out there and weigh it out, but I would put the bid for either or and get
Yeah.
the plus and minuses for each.
Once we put the bid out, because I do have another amendment that I have to make on the EHP, because I have to tell FEMA what the fuel source is going to be, and if it's going to use a diesel fuel tank, where that tank's going to be.
Correct.
It's a little bit open-ended. It's all submitted, but it's open-ended in terms of amendments.
You're just looking for budgets, for bids, right, Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll make the motion.
I'll
Second.
All in favor?
Ho.
Oh,
Oh, slow your roll. I have a question.
Apparently.
Are we convinced that $56,000 is going to be adequate for this? I'll give an example.
We'll find out when it goes to bid. Right.
But that's my key point.
All right.
2017, I put one out in Lewiston for FEMA's location at 2 College Street, and it exceeded that by $7,000. We spent $63,000 for a diesel generator in 2017. I'm not convinced, especially when Lewiston Central Fire is nowhere near the size of that high school, and everything I understood at that point.
It's not to power the whole high school.
So to be clear, what are we trying to power? Because I thought it was.
The gym, just the new section where
But
the
I
gym
thought
is.
with calling it a warming station, there were
Lights.
requirements that we had. So it is back to heat and lights.
I believe, right?
It's just heat and lights for that section, for the gym, for that wing.
Okay.
So it's not for anything else, and 200 kilowatts was I'm just specifying 200 kilowatts. I had some of my bids came in the first year I did this. I had some people telling me we could go with smaller generators, but I chose to go with the 150 to 200.
Okay.
Just again on the outside chance that if we need that, we need to budget for it. So I just wanted to make sure that we could cover everything that we actually need and not be underfunded.
Perfect.
So
I took the liberty of providing Diane and the chair the bid specs from that generator purchase in 2017 to at least be able to consider with a bidders list to be able to move forward. I think that it's worthwhile in pursuing that because it is something that actually you want to get the best value for the buck.
Each year that I did the grant request, I actually reached out to some different. I didn't
Yep.
ask the same people every time. So I think the budget number is a solid one.
Okay. Okay.
I want to thank Alan for sending that information along. That's going to save me a lot of work. And
Good job,
especially
Alan.
the bidders list. I love that. That was great.
Yeah, and we only got 2 proposals back, and the disparity there on a diesel generator went from 63,000 to 100,000. And the fact is, so it will be interesting to see what those come back at.
One thing that I noticed when I got the initial bids, just so we could have a budget number, they were all over the place like that.
And it's good. The installation and the pad and all of the other incidentals associated with that clearly need to be show up, because it will be the differential on what you get in bids received.
Right.
One more. Yeah, go ahead. I'm not asking a question. I was going to roll. All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank you, Lisa.
Goal for workshops to apply to meetings too.
Next item. Hey, we're doing the best we can. Easy now.
Order
Not even-
2019.
It's not even cold and you're already all over it.
07, fire truck purchasing process.
Nate Leclerc, Fire Chief. Time has come, I guess, to talk about how we want to proceed with the purchase of the fire truck that was approved through referendum. One of the things that come up in discussion was conventional bid versus the HGAC program. The HGAC is a Houston Galveston Area Council bid program out of Texas that's gone nationwide. It's been 40 years, I think, in operation. It's a program that the town can take full advantage of, not just for buying a fire truck, but they offer a whole bunch of different stuff. You want to buy a dumpster or a photocopier or a fire truck, you can do that through this program. After speaking with the town manager or recommending going with this program, it would allow us to streamline our process. The contractors are vetted in the very beginning. They do an annual bid. They have to go through a public bid process to get onto the program. So the baseline prices are predetermined right up front. We know what they are right up front. And then it's just a matter of building the project after that with the options that go from there. Once the end user, the way they describe it in the program, the end user determines who they want to use for a contractor. You design everything, and the specs and the contract go back to HGAC to be reviewed and vetted to make sure everything meets the criteria that goes through their program, to make sure the customers are getting the best value of their dollar. And then once they approve it, they release it, and then the purchaser signs a contract after that and moves forward on that plan. Benefits behind the HGA doing a group purchase program is simple things as time on our end. For us to go out to bid on a fire truck, would have to build the bid, submit the bid, or put out the RFP, wait for the RFPs to get back, compare the bids. It could take a few months to do all that. This process allows us to basically look at what we're looking for, what contractors with vendors can produce the vehicle we're looking for, and then compare those ones and make a selection, and then purchase that direction.
Can I ask you-
Oh, good.
How much does it cost?
This program,
Yep.
it's $0 to us. There are other programs that are out there. There's one out of Massachusetts where it's $100 for us to join, but this one's $0 to us.
Alan, do you know what you're talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
Very little.
I was asking, and Chairman, and I was critiquing this quite heavily before too, because I figured someone had to make a buck in the process.
Yeah, I couldn't find it anywhere.
And Alan actually, if this goes wrong, it's Alan's fault. But he actually says the community that he works for actually uses this.
Lewison's bought the last 3 pieces of apparatus through this program.
Yep.
And the fact is, the bid process, to Chief's point, it's less about time preparing bid specs. Do we have the qualifications to adequately put the bid specs together? And the fact is, never mind put it out through the process of the bid, given the cost. So what they've already done all of the bidding, so you've got the best pricing for what you're out there. Now you need to actually look to focusing on what the bid specs need to be, so you're getting the value for the 687,000 that we approved. You know, so that said, I would more rather see us put the emphasis into putting, who do you have on your selection committee for fire apparatus?
Right now, Deputy Robitaille, firefighter Eric Watson, Pete Hunter was on last time I knew. He was brought in at the end. Lost Bob Roble, Tom Roble.
Lieutenant Roble, Captain Watson, Engineer McGrath, myself.
I think you got the capable people to be able to put an RFP together that adequately gets what we're looking for here to be able to purchase. And the point that I would make is that this needs to be timed to be in the budget discussion so we can pay for it, because as soon as January 1st clicked around, you're looking at a 10% increase over when we voted on this in November. You don't want to have another one go by before delivery, because one of the key components of this program is payment in advance. So what you're going to do as soon as you have that is, when you know what the end product is, Chief is going to be coming back to you with a proposal that we're going to spend $682,000. Lydia already has to have financing in place to be able to make that happen, because that's going to be the key to this whole process, because it's 11 months minimum from then to before you get delivery of the item.
With that being said, two things. One, you actually said free. He thought it would actually cost him less than $1,000. So zero is less than $1,000. So you're
Correct.
still good. With what we actually were talking about as a financial mechanism, as far as not the idea of putting the whole thing out to a on bond, will that still work in this process or not? Since it's not a year, we were talking about a year's wait because we didn't have to pay for the final product until delivery. Now this actually bumps it up by a lot.
Is that what, so we have to pay in advance?
Oh, yes. You will pay in advance.
That's
Lewiston's piece of fire apparatus that I secured with the Finance Committee's approval this past summer, we paid for, and we won't receive it for 11 months. The fact is, that's one of their key pieces, is the reason they're guaranteeing pricing for the coming years, because
you're paying for it.
You paid for it.
Yep, it's already pre-purchased.
So with this change, since we were going with the different philosophy to pay for this item and thinking that we had a little bit more time, it's 6 one way, half dozen another, because we can just take we can go ahead to the capital improvement plan and pull all of the monies out with the understanding that the money that we were going to accumulate over those 2 years, we can just pop it back into the plan after the fact. Does that make sense, or am I not making any sense there?
You're saying that actually the TIF monies that we're going to collect over the next couple of years, or the monies that we were hoping to actually gather before the purchase for the delivery of it, just do it as a payback versus the idea of an initial.
Exactly.
Which I have no problem with. I mean, it works. I mean, if Lewiston's done this the last 3 times, and it's worked for them, and it's actually very low cost, and at the end of the day, we have more oversight of what we're getting, I don't see it being a losing proposition. I see it being winning. Just concerned about making sure that we're able to actually meet the financial requirements. That's all.
Yeah.
Right.
Just locally in our area, Auburn's used it once with their tower truck. Lewiston used it 3 times. Sabatis used it with their last fire truck. Thompson's used it with their last fire truck and ambulance. I believe Brunswick just used it with their last fire truck.
Make the motion.
I was going to say, who's going to motion it up?
They specialize. We don't have specialty in buying this equipment.
I'm
Got a
making
motion right here.
Second.
Yeah.
Okay. All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Just make sure you get your piggy bank broke open ahead of time. Because
Next item.
Big ticket.
Order 2019-08,
Chief.
the hydraulic extrication bid award.
Okay, so the bids went out, or the request went out. I actually talked to a couple other vendors who ended up not even putting bids in, which is kind of too bad. But we got 2 back, one for the Genesis brand tool sold through HSE out of Lewiston, and one for the Hamacho brand tool sold through IPS out of South Portland. The pricing bid was for the Hamacho brand tool was $14,813. and the price, it doesn't show this very well on this, but I asked for the 110 tethering adapters to be an option, and HSE actually put it in one bid. So if you take those out, theirs came up to $18,030. After reviewing the specifications, reviewing their bids, and looking at what we were requesting for a tool, talking to the firefighters who actually demoed the tool, I'm actually recommending that we go ahead with the Genesis brand tool for the $18,000. Some of the biggest thing for us was the Hamacho brand tool uses a proprietary battery that only has a 1-year warranty on it, and we can only buy the battery through the Hamacho dealer for $369 a piece. The Genesis tool uses a Milwaukee brand battery. Even though the Milwaukee battery is not a production battery, it is a special order battery, it is something we can get locally. We can buy it through Bath Industrial, for example. We actually contacted them, so we can get those batteries directly and for much cheaper money than even what the vendor's actually quoting us in this bid.
Do you have a cost of what it would
According to Bath Industrial, $150 per battery.
How much?
$150 per battery through Bath Industrial.
My understanding through reading this that the other brand also didn't have a very good track record for service response.
We're having not necessarily the brand. It's more we've been having issues with the local service on getting from sales point. We're getting a lot of response out of them. From service, we've been having issues getting quickly response out of them.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would make the motion to go with the 18030 through Genesis for HSE out of Lewiston. Support is a key piece, and the fact is they're a company that, again, my experience, Lewiston uses them. Lewiston uses Genesis for a reason, and I've approached my sources there, and they recommend that we do the same.
So there's the motion. Was the second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you,
Order
Chief.
passed 7-0.
Thank you. Next item, please.
There was.
Order
Go ahead. I'll
Order
follow up later.
2019-09, the
All right, jump the gun on
CDBG Letter of Intent, Micro Enterprise Facade Program.
Good evening. I'm Tracy Stuber, Economic and Community Development Director. In your packets, you have a memo in looking at the program for the Community Development Block Grant. We're kind of limited on what we can apply for funds because we've been so successful that they kind of have said, "Oop, you got to wait a little bit." So for our downtown program, we're unable to apply for that grant until 2020. But under the 2019, I'm asking council to give authorization for the town manager to submit for the Enterprise Assistance Grants Letter of Intent in the amount of $150,000. We were successful in receiving $150,000 that we did with the facade program. And the goal under this one is actually we have two opportunities with this grant. We can dedicate funds for facade, but we also can dedicate funds that could go for interior to help businesses do some interior work based upon, again, it's got criteria that they would have to fulfill in order to qualify for that. But it allows us to break up the funds a little bit and hopefully get more funds out there for the businesses. Any questions?
I have a quick question, more just out of curiosity. If we did get this grant, would it be able to be used towards the Village Streetscape project in any way?
We'd have to, as far as, I mean, what we've did with the last grant, we were able to purchase like trash receptacles and benches and planters and things. I mean, so if the funding is still there, there is definitely that possibility because it just would have to meet within that criteria, which that area has been designated as blight. So
You just read my mind. I was going to ask you, that blight, where's that designation end? Going up Village Street towards the fire station. How far up does that go?
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
Ballpark. I'm not
Ballpark,
going to hold you. Oh, boy.
I know. I'm
St.
thinking
Anne's
it goes
Church?
up to
Halfway up to the fire station.
Park Street.
Is it Spring or Park Street?
Spring
Right
to
up in
First
there.
Street.
Yeah, right up in that area. Because you have to be careful as far as on how far you went out. And the other side on 196, where we went up to the old yellow schoolhouse
Yep.
to incorporate that. and down the back side of Gartley into that area and down to empty pools, kind of
Right.
in that area.
Does it go across the bridge to the memorial as well?
I think if we went across, I think we kind of might have incorporated the Farwell Mill area for the potential of projects down the road.
Jim,
Thank you.
may?
Yeah.
Of course, one of the good things about this is as we're moving forward to Village Street improvements, if she has the money there, she can encourage the businesses in that area to actually kind of do things at the same time to actually go along with the project, which I think is really important.
Yes.
It'd be another tool that she would have to actually allow businesses to improve and get a good deal on it. So.
I mean, look at Main Street. I mean, when the top of the thing, I was telling Diane, I was going through and the closing up the grant, working on all the concept of that with the same grant, the facade grant, and you're talking about an investment. This is just on facade that the business has made is almost $300,000.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah.
Is the micro enterprise grant different than the facade grant? Because
No, it's one of the same. But you have
is interior new? Because facade to me says outside. I don't get
right. It is basically you have under the program, and I didn't bring the program into me, but you have different like A, you can use funds for this, and then there's like B criteria, you can use it for the facade. So when we went after the grant last time, we were strictly on the plate of going only for facades because that was what we were looking at for the LDC and the 196 master plan, and everything was really focusing on the facade. But in looking at the program this year, it's like, okay, wait a minute, we have the opportunity. And I did speak with the CDBG office and asked Terry Ann, and what we would have to do is you literally have to define how much is going into what. So that would be something that would have to be done prior to, is defining the dollar amounts on how it's going to be split.
Okay, that answers my question, because where I was going with that is if we were successful in getting the 150, you obviously want to see those improvements not buried in somebody's interior.
Correct.
That's actually taking the maximum benefit.
Right, and the interior, I mean, is really based upon they must have 5 or less employees. I mean, there is a little bit harder
it's thought out.
criteria than what it was going through the facade, yes.
Perfect. Okay, I'm good.
Limits?
Sorry?
Limits for?
Well, we already have as far as
Same
for the
as-
facade,
I just wanna say
and
it's the same.
yes, and I would look at both programs and doing the same. I would look after the interior going the same, that there would have to be a match, and there would be a limit as far as on dollar amount, because it only seems fair to have it match the other program, the facade program.
It's out of the facade bucket, but could somebody use both? That's the question.
They probably could, if that was something that that the committee decided that they would make that part of. And again, it's still falling within those lines. The ultimately goal is that you still got to meet all the criteria that's expected of the state.
It's the only thing I wanted to ask that question, because you're doing some outside work, doing some inside
Correct.
work. Is it
You would
possible?
have that possibility of
That's
doing
great. Thank
both.
you.
Yes, because there is limits as far as on how much you can give one person. It's about $50,000. So.
Thank you for clarifying.
I make the motion? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Anybody else have any questions?
I'll second his motion.
It looked like Chris was going to say something.
I was motioning it, man.
Oh.
Okay. We got a motion, we got a second, all in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Very good.
Thank you, Tracy.
Welcome.
Next item?
Order 2019-10, solicit bids for CDBG Lisbon Village Streetscape Project.
Spoke too soon.
Here we are looking at the Lisbon Village area. We were again very fortunate. We have $300,000 for our sidewalk project. You were given some different maps as far as the scope of work, as well as some budget items. So what we're looking to do is seek bids, and we'll probably be looking at the second one, which is the all phases, and going after bids for that. Even though you're looking at dollar amounts is more than what we have for grants, but then what we're going to do is take components and do as alternates. So it gets us down to our price range on what we can do. Most of the focus would be right within that 196 corridor. around the corner of Village Street, but then look at the alternatives as far as on the opposite side of the corner of Graciano Square by Webster, have that be an alternate, and then across the other side that goes down on Waltz Place down in that area, that would be an alternate. And then we're also looking at the lights, LED lights as well as being another alternate. So again, you know, this has been engineered. I asked the engineer to go all out because this puts us in a really good position when we want more money, and when we're eligible to go after another downtown grant. I've got everything ready to just submit it to go after more funds to do the next phase of that project.
Mr. Chair? I see the information from Mulver and the estimates. My question is how much of this is the LDC's seen, and are they comfortable with the content?
They saw it last Tuesday.
I can explain if you, Chair.
Yes, please.
There's no question about it. I mean, the whole time looking at this project, we actually wanted to actually look at the big scope picture, what it would look like, so we could do it in phases, if nothing else, whether we had grant money or not. So the big picture over the 633 is a big picture that we know we will have funds to do. The other one where it's scaled back actually is still a little bit more, but if you look at the price of the streetlights, $170,000 for the sidewalk lights. We're actually going to put that as an alternative bid, which will still allow us to come within the scope of the budget that's allowed that we have for monies, and actually maybe look at a different plan for that. It's a lot of moving parts on the lights. I mean, they're kind of CMP owned, kind of our own,
Right.
I mean, so there's some other negotiations can be done there. So if you actually take away the street lights out of that project and put that as an alternative bid, we still could actually do the project with the grant money that's allowed, just coming up with a different plan for the lights. Does that
And
make
the
sense?
lights in the bid are solar panel lights.
That was my other piece. Are they LED or solar?
That's solar.
This, you know, I heard you say this, so I'm going to ask this question. So this is the jumping off point. So the idea is that we can go up to more grant money to try to complete a project.
Correct.
Because my initial thought was I was going to ask you to move some of the lights. This is the one and done, but it's great. We're going to go after more after we do this. It's fine.
We get the big picture now. We just need to have the work up to
Yes.
it. So, and we get a huge jump already, 300,000.
The idea behind the CDBG is that the more work that we do on our end and position ourselves, the better off we're going to be in getting those funds, is because we have everything already in place and we're not starting right off. So, and they like to kind of see things continue on to be a completed project.
I'll make the motion.
Second. All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
I didn't see the pool in the Graziano's Park. When's that coming?
Mr. Chair,
Totally different
just a
discussion,
question
but
for
yes.
Diane.
Yep.
I can provide you anything you need for a bid spec on this. Is there something that you have an idea to be able to base it on, and we base
No,
it
our
on the
engineers would
ETTI?
take care of that.
Engineers already
Yep.
got it. Thank
They're
you.
doing it, yep.
And a lot of it's based on the project they just did down to the other end of town. So they
That's why it's modeled after the ETTI.
Thank you.
Next item?
Order
Bidders list I can
2019-11,
get you, though.
the wellness grant.
Every year, the town participates in the wellness program, which is done through the Maine Municipal Health Trust. This is an opportunity to help with insurance rates and also offer employees some great programs. We do lunch and learns, and we also do incentives for those who do participate. We have some little prize that they get for participating. So what we're looking at for the 2019 is the award being $2,080. So I'm just asking council to accept the funds from a municipal that we can continue on with our wellness grant for 2019.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed 6-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Next is order 2019-12, the lease purchase payoff.
I know this is supposed to make a lot of sense, but reading it, I was very confused. So.
I liked it. I saw that we were saving money, so I liked it immediately.
Lydia Colston, Finance Director. During last year's budget workshops, Council approved using undesignated fund balance to pay off the debt service for capital leases for the years 2019, 20, and 21. That left one remaining payment on one of the capital leases. Oversight in asking for those funds apparently, because that doesn't make sense. I recommend overexpending the debt service for capital lease expense line in this current year to get that paid off, saving the town approximately $8,500 in interest costs.
Yes.
That's a motion. Got a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, just stupid question. Where do we actually pull the other money from? Does that still come out of undesignated, or is that actually coming out of another?
Well, right, when we close out year end, we'll always have money left in the whole overall budget, so it'll just close into fund balance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. That's what my confusion was when you actually, I just didn't know if you could actually pull that out undesignated without having bigger discussion. No, thank you.
$8,500. So, we got a motion and a second. All in favor?
7-0, order passed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Order 2019-13, the ordinance to adopt the licensing of medical marijuana establishments. This is a second reading and a roll call vote is required.
Anything new?
Same stuff.
Need the roll call?
Yep.
I'll need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Comes the roll call.
Okay. Counselor Albert?
Yes.
Counselor Crawford?
Yes.
Counselor LaRochelle?
Yes.
And Counselor Ward?
Yes.
Counselor Lunt?
Yes.
Counselor Brunel?
I'm going to abstain.
Okay. And Counselor Kobe?
Yes.
And the 6-0-1, order passed.
Next item.
Other business, council committee reports.
So I went to the school last night, and business as usual, housekeeping. However, to one of Fern's requests as far as goals, and one that I'm a big fan of as well, is technologies for us to use so we can stop printing packets and doing all that sort of stuff, spending money on ink. They have some technology, so rather than spending a bunch of money on a tablet right now, they will have some laptops that we can either get at low cost or no cost to give us a chance to kind of pilot this program and see what it's like to not use paper and see if we can kind of try it out. So that's the good news. I should have more details to come sometime by the end of March.
That sounds great.
That's it. That's what I got.
Planning. 3 public presentations. We had a public hearing for Kelly Daigle for conditional use for daycare at 7 Ridland. There was a conditional use application for home daycare business as well for that same, and a home daycare business for Christine Allen discussed, as well as a subdivision proposed by Wayne and Vern Ricker on Mill Street. Multiple phases that are in the process of being discussed on that. And then they moved into goal setting now that the comp plan is likely to be coming to us in the January timeframe. Is that correct? End of January. It's going to go for the state and then to us. So we should be seeing that. If you guys remember back at the budget timeframe, what's next for Ben? They're in the process of flushing out recommendation for where time should be best spent. So if you guys had any input on that, either feed it to me or feed it to Karen, and they'll take it from there. Did I miss anything? Thank you.
Water Department? We'll move on. Conservation Commission?
They met tonight. As I mentioned, they're currently actively working on hearing a proposal for composting, and they're also working on LED conversion for streetlights, and they've kind of moved away from the solar, primarily because of it's cost prohibitive in the way that they understand it at this point. But what their intent is to package at least one, if not 2 of these potential ideas for something that will be in the budget time frame for consideration by us.
You know that you skipped Fern, correct?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Sorry, and I did.
Right. I'll just go back. I'll backtrack.
That's all right.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay, LDC.
I've not heard of it all. It's all good. A lot of good stuff. We had a meeting the other night. It's this time of year is always challenging right around the first of the year. A lot of good things coming up. People in the village, actually, finally, we're going to see some things happening this year, which I think is really exciting, between the wrapping up and moving forward on the Grazi Square and the idea of the improvements on the sidewalks, and hopefully, as time moves forward, if we get some more grant money, some of the businesses down there too. So a lot of good things. I just encourage anybody that has any interest in Lisbon development to actually just ask questions and stop and see Tracy or Diane or myself. And just like to see this group actually get to be an exciting group looking to improve things in Lisbon, because I think we have a lot to do, and I think we have a lot of good tools to make it happen. So exciting things happen this year. I think we're going to actually achieve some stuff that the town's been trying to do for many years. So hopefully we can plant that seed and make it happen. It happened in Lisbon Falls, so there's no reason it can't happen in the village.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Rec?
Started planning for the Moxie Festival. A lot of ideas being thrown around, and it'll be interesting to see what comes about with that. And their next meeting is, for Moxie anyways, will be in March.
County budget?
Nothing.
Okay. Library?
Unfortunately, the library had one of the part-time people working there quit without notice over the holidays, so we've had people trying to cover shifts to keep the hours open, and so we're going to be looking for a new part-time person there. And one suggestion I had was we might want to look and see if we have any part-time people in any other departments that want to work 2 part-time jobs to get a full-time job, and maybe work here and work there, because it's hard to retain people are on 20 hours a week. It's like, you can't get benefits. It's not really a full-time job, so it'd be hard to find. If anyone's out there looking for a part-time job, the library's open.
Town manager's report?
We had a surprise DOL safety inspection audit last week. It took up a lot of our time on Thursday and Friday. We haven't had one since 2012. So I think we fared pretty well with it based on the exit interview that I had with the auditor. So we'll be getting something in writing from them. We may have one citation that might have a fine to it, but we've already taken care of the issue, so hopefully that's gone and we won't get a citation. We just ended up having Safety Works come in this summer to do an inspection of all our departments, so we're in pretty good shape. So now we're going to move forward with the SHAPE Award, get on that program. And Chief Leclerc spent the last 2 days going around the departments that they audited, so he spent a lot of time with the inspector.
That was a surprise, right?
I know.
It's an interesting surprise.
And you have to drop everything when they come.
Or you don't, or pay the fine.
Right.
All right. North Star Planning Quarterly Report?
Packet.
I think Lydia's going to do she's got something she's going to do.
Okay. Did I
The
jump the gun?
department.
Oh, department heads. I did. I jumped the gun. I forgot about Lydia. Sorry, Lydia.
Lydia Colston, Finance Director. I just wanted to comment on a couple of the expense accounts where we're halfway through the year. There's a few departments that are over 50%. I would expect them to be right around 50%. One of them is technology. This is because we had a couple of annual bills that come in, so that is already paid up for the rest of the year. General assistance is up at 51.4%, but they get reimbursed through the state, so that's offset by the revenue. Emergency management is at about 74%, and that's because the LEMS stipend account is 3/4 paid, not half paid. Animal control is up at 54%, and that's because the animal shelter services budget line is 100% paid up. And then other public works is up at 67%, but that was because of the water increase. Motor vehicle excise revenue is a little bit below what we anticipated for budgeting. It's at 47%, but it's still up over last year. And that's all I had on the budget items. Did you have any questions on the budget items?
Anyone?
Okay. I was also asked to comment on some of the reserve accounts and what the status is of the spending of them. So the munis was an error in year 18 budgeting for $26,125. That's been used. The accrual leave payout is a reserve account, so that's not going to be used unless needed. The book restoration account for the clerk's office for $10,000 It has not been spent yet, but she is in works with the vendors, and it's looking like March. The update of the rifles for 7,800, that amount was taken out of federal asset forfeiture funds, and that 7,800 was reallocated to the rec bus. The command center car for $4,000, 2,200 was spent, leaving a remaining balance of $1,797. Fans for the fire department, that was spent, or $7,765 of that reserve of $8,000 was spent, leaving $235. The Swift Water Rescue equipment, Nate said that he'll be ordering that equipment within the upcoming month. The SCBA bottles for $4,000, $3,129.75 was spent, leaving a remaining balance of $870.25. The hydraulic tools, he just got the approval to award the bid tonight, so that will be spent soon. The library carpet was spent. It actually overspent at $9,431.43. The additional funds from that will come from the regular buildings repair and maintenance account line. And then the debt services for 19, 20, and 21 have all been spent. That's all I have.
Perfect.
Eunice.
We got nothing
Yep.
lingering.
Yeah, I was just going to say I wanted to thank you for taking the time to go ahead and clarify on the Munis updates for modules.
Yep. Now, would you like me to read that memo?
You want to do a recap? I mean, you don't have to read it verbatim. If you can just give us a recap, that would be fantastic. I'm thinking more for the public so they understand where we're driving towards.
Okay. So the payroll module that was originally scheduled to go live on January 1st is going to go live in April 2019 with the first payroll, which is April 8th and 9th. I made that decision just to give us additional time to do testing and whatnot. It's not going to cost the town any more additional funds to go live on April 8th. So I felt it was better to do additional testing that we weren't able to do because I didn't get that additional help earlier like I had thought.
And that's more of a measure twice, cut once sort of a philosophy because payroll is so critical here that if you were to have some sort of mishap without proper testing, then that could cause more difficulties installing other modules as well.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Tyler cashiering is right on schedule. We should be using that module to enter in payments for the town no later than February 1st. The real estate billing module is on schedule. Currently, all the information that they require from us is in their hands. They're in the process of doing the conversions, and once that's completed on their end, we'll begin testing. Business licenses and animal licenses is on schedule. We are in the testing phase now and anticipate that these two modules will be ready for use around February 1st. Utility billing has not yet begun, but I have a conference call on Thursday to begin building out the schedule, and I'll be able to provide more of a timeline next month.
And that's primarily sewer for us, right?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
And that's all the modules from Munis.
Anybody have any questions?
Moving forward, right?
Yeah. So how are we doing actually getting you the support that you need to be able to do what you need to do to keep this on task?
So far, so good. I had a girl start about 3 weeks ago, I think now. She's really picked up a lot of things and has been a big help getting some of those more tedious day-to-day duties off my desk, and I'm able to focus more on Munis and get more of these information and whatnot items that they need turned around faster. So that's been good.
Anything else that you need to share to be able to help you with that, or are you good?
So far, so good. I can't think of anything.
Okay. I rely on temperature taking specifically with people like you. I want to make sure you're good to be able to get us through what we need to do.
We're getting there.
Okay.
I want to thank you. I know it's not an easy task, and you've done nothing but dive in and kill it, so nice job. Go, Lydia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item.
North Star Planning Quarterly Reports.
He's put it in the council packet based on what we asked for again in the budget. It's there. He mentioned it there. He wasn't prepared to actually bring it. He just viewing it like the department head report. So if anything you have on that, read the comment, get it to myself or Ms. Parity, and we'll take it from there if you don't mind.
Don't mind at all.
Ben is a blank slate looking for what's coming after comp plan.
has anything, we'll just send it your way.
Please.
Any questions? No? Next item.
Under appointments, Order 2019-14, the Registrar of Voters, it's a 2-year term.
Is that Ricky?
Well, this is Registrar of Voters. He's usually our warden.
Smile.
So this
We're good
might
with
be
that.
new.
It's not
Yeah,
Ricky.
I think Twyla
Motion to
put
accept.
I think Twyla threw her hat in the ring on this one, right?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Thank you. And 7-0, order passed.
Thank you, Twyla.
Who is that?
And Order 2019-50, you have a resignation from the Board of Appeals member, Sean Carr.
Yeah, we like him better on the planning board anyway.
Yeah, I'll make the
Actually
motion.
did quite well the other night. He did.
Awesome.
So I think we made a great call.
I'll make
for
that
sure.
motion.
Motion, I get a motion, second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Alrighty, next item.
Is Order 2019-16, the Lisbon Development Committee, Christopher Houston.
Chris is here.
There he is in the back row.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because I've been waiting around all night to talk to you for 2 minutes.
No, I think this is pretty exciting. I mean, hopefully you can take some of your expertise of what you do to help us do what we do, so that's awesome. I make that motion.
Second.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that.
All in favor?
Thank you, sir.
Order passed, 7-0. We're guessing.
Next item.
Councilor Communications.
Anybody got anything?
Winterfest for the rec department.
26, right?
Yes, the 26th.
Free event.
It's a free event at Beaver Park. Kind of cool. It starts at 10 a.m., so anybody's interested, by all means, it's a great day out.
And if you want to do the dog sleds, you need to, I recommend, and I believe Mark recommends,
Get there early and sign up.
sign up before
Pre-register,
that
yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Next item.
Is the audience participation for new items.
Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Bixby, 49 Main Street. I don't want any money.
Good.
Because we were voting no.
Yeah. The river side riders are asking for more access roads. And there's a map, and I will kind of go over what they want. They want to start from the light on Village Street. Of course, they wouldn't be unloading there, but that's as far as they'd go. They want to come up, and to make it easy, they would like to get down Spring Street, down to the Getty Station, to patronize that business. Then they would like to come up and use Pinewood Road, down to the Ferry Road and all the way around. And all the little black arrows that you see all around that, that's where their trails come into that road. So there's quite a few. That would make a huge loop. Then they were asking, because they have a lot of members that live on Hewden Road, they would like to have Hewden Road down to River Road again, but not the side that we had the problem on. The other side, down to 196. And I put in this myself after a lot of consideration. The two clubs would like to combine. And over 7 or 8 years of trying to do this, they can't do it because of landowners. You just can't do it. So I've looked at all other access down Upland Road and everything. I don't think it would work. I think the safest place to connect is from the Sabattis Bridge up 196 and back down because of the breakdown lanes. They're super wide. You're patronizing a business in the summertime, Big Dipper, and the lunch place there. There is not a lot of buildings or whatever going up through from Sabattis Bridge to the light at McDonald's. On the other way down, I was always a little nervous about going down that way and then crossing back over to the River Road. But I noticed there's a parting in the fence right there. And if we signed it right, they could go, if there was traffic, they could go in there, turn around, and make a straight shot across. So that would be a safety. It's about the safest thing I can think of. And I was afraid that the Upland Road, it's like a super highway. It's kind of narrow. And at 10 miles an hour, it's just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So I thought, with a lot of pondering, I thought that 196 would probably be the best place to do it. And why I'm coming to do on this right here is I want you to look at it, maybe take a ride around it, see what you think. And then if you have any questions, one of these pages, I got 2 phone numbers. Call me and I can try to answer the questions. And if I can't, I know I've got a gentleman here that can answer them. So, and then if everything seems to go right, then probably maybe in March or April, we'll ask for a public hearing and see if we can get it done. I got to try to get it done because they have to buy the signs. The signs expensive, and the posts that are put on are fairly expensive. So they have to have, and you got to order them. So it's one of them things. But that's what I've got, and that's your copy to look at. And like I said, if you've got problems, let me know. Is there any questions?
Diane, can you have somebody overlay what the current map is compared to the proposed to see
Yep.
what looking different, just so we get an idea?
Yep.
And if you could get that to us, I think that
I
would
will.
help that discussion for Roger's purpose.
It's basically we're going to be coming. The Lisbon Club is coming down. Lisbon Falls Club is coming down Route 9 to 196,
Right.
then going up to the stoplight or to Subway, and this is the easiest way to connect. And basically the other club, it's all basically rural roads, Pinewood Road and Ferry Road. It's all about as rural as you can get
Right.
in this town. So my own personal self, I can't. I've rode them because we had a Moxie Day ride around that whole area, and kind of washed out, and it was
Talk to me about the Uden Road, and the fact is, I know before the program was even supposed to go live,
right.
We ended up with a flurry of
We
complaints.
had it because of the town map, and we had River Road already.
So we anywhere near that same area? Because I don't
No,
care. I don't
well,
care.
as the Huden Road
I don't
comes
care
down,
what you propose. She's still going to be pissed.
No, we ain't gonna be anywhere near her.
Okay, that's what I needed to hear, Roger.
I wouldn't
That's
do that to Diane.
Right,
I wouldn't do
no,
that
I
to
just want-
Diane.
Basically, you're taking a left instead of right there.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's the only reason I asked. Is
Can we take it on left
let's
instead
because
Good.
none of us expected that because it
No.
was
No, we are
what
not even.
60 days before it was even
Matter
supposed to
of
go
fact,
live.
there's probably gonna be a sign put up there, no ATVs allowed down there.
Okay. No, we're good. I think for at least consideration, if I could see it, what we have now added to it, just learning what came out of the woodwork last year, that would be my
Then
concern.
Basically, if this goes through and everything, and I wanna try to give it some time to see if it's gonna work. But, I'm trying to connect most of the businesses.
Right.
And what I plan is if this goes to through, and in a year or so's time, Thompson is trying to connect with us. And if they do, then I will come up with a plan to connect all the rest of the businesses like Frank's, everything down that area. I'll try to get that connected in the safest way possible.
Sure.
Wasn't at one point, Roger, you were talking about taking the existing train tracks and doing something with that? Too much work?
No.
No?
It died.
Oh, it just died?
Died.
Wouldn't give them up.
Yeah, it died.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
Rails to trails.
Yeah.
It was going good. And I'm sorry to say, when it got turned into AvCog, it went downhill.
Okay. Thank you.
That was where it died right there.
Okay. Fair enough.
And now the existing legislators that were pushing it are no longer there. So I don't want to start and work another 6 years to go nowhere.
No, I hear you.
Now, one of the other things we have to do in this is notification here, public hearing, and all of that kind of disclosure, like we went through the first time. Right.
Every time we have to do this, that's why I'm going to wait a while for any more if we get this.
Yeah.
But I'd like to do it for them so they can order the signs. If they know they're going to have it, then they can order the signs post. They got to go out. Plus, we do have a little bit of a leeway here because the trails, the roads don't open until June 1st.
Right.
And,
Right.
so there is a little more leeway. They can actually ride to a lot of the places through their own trails because they open when they want to open them up on private land.
So maybe the second, once I send everything to you and nobody has any concerns, probably the second meeting in February, we can set the public hearing for March.
Yeah, and it gives them a little bit of front end time for at least consider it, because what we did last year anyways has a sunset that it came in December to be able to react on what we're going to do for the coming season anyways.
I mean, if you don't have any objections or any concerns, we can set the public hearing during the first meeting in February. That'll give us a little more time because the ordinance won't take effect until 21 days after the second reading.
And they don't, and like I said, they don't need the ordinance can take effect June 1st.
Right.
Because they won't be able to,
Yeah, so the second meeting in
Float that past the chair, I think.
Yeah,
He's better versed in what
yeah,
we're feeling.
I'm there. I think the second meeting's fine.
Okay.
All right, so second meeting in February.
Yep.
And like I said, you guys get that. If there's any questions, Mark, if you have a question about anything, give me a call. I'll be happy to.
Okay, well, I have a question right now for you, Roger. Where are you planning to cross 196? Like from Route 9, how are you going to get across 196?
Right at the stoplight.
At the stoplight by the high school?
That's
Okay.
we're coming right down, stop at all traffic.
Okay.
It's just, that's what you use.
Do you have any signs that you can put up there?
There's going to be
crossing
access
to warn
signs,
cars?
all state, the way the state wants it done. And they bought the right signpost, so it will look good because of the beautification of 196. So they're trying hard.
Okay.
And
Well, that's one of the things that works completely in you guys' favor is the fact that you've never once dodged when you presented this to originally, the fact that we have the ability to be able to pull this and you guys have the complete ownership of the process.
Yeah.
So you guys have taken that to heart.
Yeah. No, we know we got to patrol it. We got to try to enforce it as much as we can. Everything.
Right.
It's every year it's going to be up for review. So.
Perfect. Ready, set, go.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. All right, next item.
Executive session, Order 2019-17, to go into executive session for 1 MRSA, Section 405, 6C, acquisition or disposition of real property or economic development.
Won't be a vote.
Won't be a vote. Okay.
I make a motion?
Class dismissed. We're staying here.
Yeah.
Who made the motion?
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0, stand adjourned. This sucks.
I have to get up and move around.
I gotta make a
Grab
phone
some
call.
of those, you may need some.
Bookie?
Right now, yeah.
Bales bondsman.
I brought cash.
We got this from Unitil. I asked the chief earlier, but
I
it went.
got it too.
But
Chief's still here.
do you know if we actually have taken advantage of their training for the fire?
What's that?
I don't know, 'cause Nate got one
Yeah,
as
we can
well.
do it.